I know that many of you will be able to get this question right just by kind of reading it and doing a couple steps on your calculator, but I'm really going to emphasize the importance here of showing your work for two reasons. One is you just don't want to accidentally make a careless mistake and get it wrong because, these are supposed to be easy points. And if we do too much in our calculator, sometimes, we hit a button wrong or we just don't see the error that we would see if we just wrote it out for a second. So that's one problem, is we want to avoid a careless mistake. The other thing, though, is that this may be an easier question, but there will be harder versions of this question later on. And so we want to make sure that we have a solid process in place so that when the hard stuff happens, we are just as prepared. So it's kind of like, we treat every question like it might have a trap or there's a chance for an error. And that way, no matter what happens, we're prepared. So what does the work look like? Well, this is clearly going to ask me to create some sort of ratio. So that's what I'm going to do. A certain package requires 3 centimeters of tape to be closed securely. What is the maximum number of packages of this type that can be secured with 6 meters of tape? So I like to turn the question itself into the ratio. So how many packages, X packages, can be, sealed with 6 meters of tape? So that's my rate, my ratio that I want to understand. And so what I need to do is I need to come up with another fraction that represents the same situation. Now, this is a good example of just go with the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't worry about any problems. The problems are going to sort themselves out. So the first thing I see is that I know that one package, let's use green here, one package requires 3 centimeters. So one package is 3 centimeters. Now what we can see is that we've got a bit of a problem. We want our ratio to have the same units on the top and on the bottom. And so we have packages on the top of both fractions, that's good. But we have the wrong units on the bottom, right? We're comparing meters to centimeters, so that's bad. We want to compare either meters to meters or centimeters to centimeters. And this is true of any of these ratio unit questions. We always need to make sure our units are consistent, and that's why it's smart to take literally a second to write out the unit so that we can kind of check our work as we go instead of, waiting until the end and maybe not noticing that we made a mistake. So the way to fix it is very easy. We want to change centimeters into meters. So what you do to do that is you create new fractions that include new rates that let you convert away the bad unit. So in this case, I want to get rid of centimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a rate that puts centimeters on the top of the fraction. And they tell me right here that 1 centimeter or 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. And because of the properties of fractions, what this lets me do is it lets me cross out centimeters. Because remember, with fractions, anytime we have something on the top and on the bottom, it goes away. Normally we do that with numbers. In this case, we're doing that with units, but the principle is the same. Top and bottom cancels out. And that leaves me with what I want. Now I have meters to meters. And now I can do the math. And the math is pretty straightforward. We are just going to multiply across, because these are normal fractions, to make this a much simpler ratio. So it's going to be x over 6 is equal to 100 over 3. And you can probably see what the answer is, but just so you know, we're going to cross multiply, and we're going to get 3x is equal to 600. And then we'll divide by 3 to get that x is equal to 200, which is the answer. So there you go. I do not think that this is particularly time consuming. And like I said, taking a few extra seconds here has ramifications throughout the rest of the test. It might save you a careless mistake, and it will certainly prepare you for the harder stuff that's to come when the units get very confusing. You want to have good habits for the easy stuff so that those same habits are reliable for the hard stuff. That's really important for math. It's not just about cutting corners only when you know you can, right? We need to be consistent, and that's what habits are. It's a consistent process that doesn't change, and that way you're ready no matter what the situation.